see the shot? It's gonna be like shot over like here. On the other side, you get a squeeze inside that space. And then the organization is going to squeeze in as much as you can, like trying to Guys, we're about to start. Sorry, that was it. About to be about the middle here on the outside. And then have all the questions set in front and center. As well as any other. Lisa, the best time gave it to her too.
We got lots of practice. Yeah, we're good. So, I think we should line up the elected. Yeah. Congresswoman. On the elected.
No, es que yo sí estoy ancho, entonces con las placas de ustedes no puedo. Con uno de mí trajo 3 de ustedes.
Yeah, I guess.
She was being funny because I called her to Yes.
Yeah.
I was holding her hand, both of us were like holding our each other's hands so tight.
Sorry, no, you got the fresh fit on.
I know that. I just noticed. I know.
Rumi's match.
We're going to stand not too close to each other.
I matched without my
Mix in with that because it's all dark blue. Yes. So that guy comes in by me.
Bien rápido, una foto bien rápido. Bien rápido, Juan.
I smile. Sorry. I was like, I know. So I'm going to smile.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you. We're gonna get started. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. I am State Representative Norma Hernandez, representing the 77th District, and proudly this year's co-chair, or this term's co-chair for the Latino Legislative Caucus. And I'm here today to share the anger and the disdain that all of us are feeling inside. And I know none of us thought that in the year 2025, the President of the United States would choose to spread lies and fear about our communities and then use the National Guard to attack all of us. The ignorance of this decision is staggering. At a time when crime is at an all-time low, not just here in Chicago, but across major cities in America, this administration is ignoring the truth, which unfortunately isn't a surprise anymore. Crime is down because of the strategic investments in community-led solutions that work. Our neighborhoods are safer because of these efforts, not because of troops or more reactionary policies that don't place people first. Instead of building on that progress, this administration is moving us and our work backwards. They are lying to the American people and creating a false narrative of Chicago that simply isn't true. And what worries me the most is the chilling effect that this will have on our streets, especially our immigrant families. People not going to work, families not going to grocery stores or church services, kids not going to sports or school, intentionally destabilizing our communities, which is what could lead to increase in violence. And for what? Because the White House occupant is a vindictive, xenophobic, and authoritarian liar, and has his eyes set on our beautiful people, and will make this incredible and welcoming state. The presence of the National Guard will not bring safety. It will bring fear, hurt small businesses, and it will traumatize and re-traumatize families who are still healing from the past harm. And it will do nothing more than feed a base of cruelty, evil, and hate. A part of why the Trust Act exists is to ensure people feel safe calling their local police about safety issues. This will end that. People experiencing domestic violence, a medical emergency, or want support from law enforcement efforts will no longer feel safe talking to local authorities. We are here to ensure that that doesn't happen and that we do everything within our power to fight back these overreaching, and dangerous efforts from this administration. I also want to say how deeply grateful I am for our grassroots coalition of organizations, for the rapid response networks, and for every community leader who is doing everything possible to protect our people. It's through their love, their passion, and their commitment that Illinois is best positioned to withstand this attack from Trump. And today I look forward to hearing from them, our organizers, our advocates, our leaders, on how we can all continue working together to defend our communities and build the future we deserve. And now I'd like to introduce my colleague, our amazing fighter here in Illinois, Delia Ramirez.
Good morning. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
I want to start by thanking the Latino Legislative Caucus here in the state of Illinois and its co-chairs who put together this press conference. In a time when the federal government is being weaponized against its very own people, it is so important and a reminder, a powerful reminder that we're not alone when you have the General Assembly of the state of Illinois, specifically the Latino Legislative Caucus, holding the line, taking a stand for our community. So I want to thank all of you for putting this press conference together today. And I also want to say that in a time such as this, where it feels like it's overwhelming, we wake up every single morning. If you're like me, you go to check the news and what's the latest. You can become overwhelmed by another executive order. Another executive order because the president has decided that he no longer respects co-equal branches of government and he doesn't really respect the law, so he continues to issue these unconstitutional executive orders. But I am so grateful that we have electeds at every single level of government, whether it's at the state level, at the county level, or at the city level, that are holding the line in this moment. Chicago is going to be clear to this president, who tries to identify ways to be able to silence us, to silence dissent. But that the attacks on Chicago, Illinois are not about safety and security. We know that. They're about trying to terrorize the resistance. Because Chicago is an organizing town. A town that understands that the only thing that makes its beautiful downtown beautiful is diversity that makes up the city of Chicago. And yet Trump and his loyalists are willing to weaponize the government against political opposition and communities because we resist these unconstitutional agendas. Deploying troops in a violent spectacle undermines the rule of law, the separation of powers, and state sovereignty. The reality is that I don't know if Trump understands what's a president and the difference between a president, a mayor, and a governor. He can't be all of them. And so I think it's important that as we're standing here today, that we are clear. We are prepared to protect our communities, and that our colleagues here in the Latino Legislative Caucus are going to do everything in their power with our colleagues in the county and certainly with the city and us in the Illinois delegation to hold the line. I want to wrap up in saying this. Someone asked yesterday, one of the reporters asked, well, doing a protest, I know there might be a protest coming up during Labor Day, isn't that going to egg him on so that he then decides he wants to come here? Let me be very clear. Donald Trump is trying to ensure that we stop protesting. Donald Trump wants to make sure that he moves us and shoves us into submission so we stop resisting him. Not doing a rally or a protest or a press conference is exactly what he wants, and we are not going to give him that pleasure. Is that right?
That's right.
Frankly, it is the opposite, because we know we're not alone. that in these scary times, we are committed to protecting our immigrant neighbors, and we're not going to retreat. We're actually going to double down. And as Trump continues his unlawful militarization in democratic cities, I want you to remember that power is in community, in the community of leaders that are here today from various organizations. So for those of you that are asking yourself, how do I take a stand in this moment? Get connected with these organizations, whether it's ICER or OCAT, join a rapid response team, because it is our responsibility to hold the line. And as a member of the Department of Homeland Security Committee, I'm going to tell you this. Even if it's just a few of us in committee dissenting to Secretary Noem, we will continue to hold them accountable, whether it is in the courts, whether it is in detention, or it's in the White House itself. Because we understand the mission and the assignment of this moment. It is solidarity and collective liberation that will get us through it. So I just want to say two sentences, maybe three in Spanish. Soy la congresista Delia Ramírez, represento el Distrito 3. Le quiero primeramente agradecer al Caucus Legislativo Latino que puso esta conferencia de prensa con las organizaciones comunitarias que están haciendo el trabajo todos los días para defender a nuestras comunidades. Yo sé que el presidente Trump, él quiere tratar de asustarnos como un niño berrinchoso que es y tratar de que nosotros tengamos tanto miedo que no defendemos a nuestra comunidad. Lo que creo que es muy importante que entiendan es que entre más que nos ataque, nosotros vamos a tener la fuerza y la solidaridad para defender a nuestras comunidades. Y quiero agradecerle a mis colegas que están aquí del estado, pero también del condado y de la ciudad, que están diciendo colectivamente nosotros nos defendemos cuando un gobierno federal está atacándonos. Así que vamos a continuar a ver las leyes locales, cómo hacemos legislación, cómo apoyamos las cortes que están defendiendo la democracia, la constitución y derechos humanos, y cómo nos aseguramos que nos continuamos movilizando y agitando, porque en esta ciudad aquí no nos vamos a estar rajando, sino que al contrario vamos a trabajar aún más duro para asegurarse que la gente entienda que si te metes con un inmigrante, te metes con la ciudad de Chicago. Así que muchas gracias. Y con eso quiero presentarles a alguien que ha sido una campeona para nuestras comunidades, una orgullosa inmigrante que ahora dirige tanto ese trabajo también. I want to introduce to you someone who has been a champion for immigrant communities, a champion really for humanity, and that is Representative Dee Avalar.
Good morning, everybody. State Representative Dagmara Avalar, proudly representing the 85th District, which is in the southwest suburbs. Illinois has always been a place shaped by immigrants, families who come here seeking safety, opportunity, and the chance to contribute to something greater than themselves. I know this because my family did this in October of 1999, when we made Illinois our home. Our stories are woven into every corner of the state, from Chicago's neighborhoods to the suburbs, where so many of us live, work, and raise our children. But today, we cannot ignore the truth. Our communities, including our immigrant families, are under attack. We are seeing the heartbreak of separation, not only in big cities, but in suburban communities as well. We have been hearing the stories. We have been driving around our neighborhoods doing migrant watches, because it's not just happening here, it's happening throughout the state. Children are going to school with the fear that a parent might not be there when they get home. That is just not right. Families who have lived here for decades, who pay taxes, who serve in our churches, schools, and workplaces are being torn apart. Let me tell you this is not just a policy debate. This is about humanity. This is about our neighbors who help shovel out our sidewalks during the winter, who coach our kids' soccer teams, who stand next to us at grocery stores and pray beside us in our houses of worship. When immigrant families are threatened, the fabric of our entire community unravels. And we cannot let fear divide us. We cannot allow injustice to become normalized. Illinois has the chance and the responsibility to stand firm and say, not here, not our families, not our communities. To every immigrant in the state, you belong here. Your dreams are Illinois' dreams. Your struggles are Illinois' struggles. And your future is bound to ours. So with that being said, thank you so much. It is my pleasure to introduce somebody who has been in the fight for decades, a former co-worker of mine who I still believe is a sister to me, Veronica Castro with the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. Good morning. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
My name is Veronica Castro. I'm the Deputy Director at the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. It has been a long mantra that we keep us safe. Communities looking out for one another is a cornerstone of our movements. Together with community partners, movement allies, and many of the elected officials here today, we have worked to make Illinois a welcoming place for all people. The harm ICE is inflicting is not new. ICE has always been a bipartisan deportation machine, with increasingly large budgets approved by both parties in Congress. But since he came back into office, Trump has pushed ICE to its furthest, cruelest limit, and now has even more money to do it with. To meet his hateful, racist quotas, Magna cronies in Congress pushed for and appropriated $150 billion more in funding. That's right, boo. It's at the expense of healthcare, cuts to programs like SNAP, and the long-term stability of so many families across the country. Since last November, ICER, our members, and community volunteers have been working to educate our neighbors to make sure everyone knows their rights, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. We have worked to coordinate and organize rapid response teams to spot ICE, notify neighbors, and help people get the community and legal support that they need. We have expanded capacity on our Family Support Network hotline to ensure anyone needing help, including those in deportation crisis, will be connected to the resources that they need. And we have worked with the Illinois Legislative Latino Caucus to pass policies at the state level that will keep our communities safe, like Safe Schools for All. That's right. We know Trump and his loyalists are going to continue targeting Chicago and Illinois. And we also know that we will continue looking out for one another. So here is one thing you can do right now. Everyone, take out your phones. I know you have them with you. Go to your contacts and save the support hotline number in your phone. See the number here? 855-435-7693. 855-435-7693. Next, follow us on social media for updates. Keep an eye out for Know Your Rights trainings and updates on training and other training opportunities. Because remember, we keep us safe. ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? And now, I'd like to introduce my partner in this fight and in this work, Ere Rondon from the Resurrection Project.
Okay. Buenos días. My name's Ere Rondon with the Resurrection Project. At TRP, we reaffirm our commitment to protecting and serving immigrant communities across our city. The potential militarization of our streets will heighten the fear and uncertainty in our families. Our families will experience more trauma. Our businesses will continue to see a decline in sales. And our streets will lose the beautiful vibrancy that we get to experience now. We all must remember that we all have rights, and that when everybody, including U.S. citizens, choose to remain silent, you are protecting us all. So just keep in mind that all of us should say, I choose to remain silent. We have the right to deny entry without a judicial warrant. If you are in a public place and you step into a private space, you have the right to deny entry. We all have the right to refuse searches to your own body and to your belongings. If you see ICE, call the Family Support Hotline. If someone is detained by ICE, they have the right to an attorney, and you can visit IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org to learn more. When we all exercise our rights, we protect each other. So, buenos días, soy Ere con Proyecto Resurrección. Nosotros reafirmamos el compromiso de proteger y servir a las comunidades inmigrantes de nuestra ciudad. La posible llegada de Fuerzas Armadas en nuestras calles va a aumentar el miedo y la incertidumbre en nuestras familias. Nuestras familias sentirán más miedo y van a sentir más trauma. nuestros negocios van a ser afectados con menos personas yendo a los negocios en nuestras comunidades. Y nuestras calles van a perder la hermosa energía que apreciamos ahora. Todos debemos recordar que cuando todos guardamos nuestros derechos, protegemos a todos los inmigrantes. Todos tenemos el derecho de decir I wish to remain silent si te preguntan cualquier pregunta sin ninguna orden. Todos tenemos el derecho de negar la entrada a nuestros hogares o a cualquier lugar privado sin una orden judicial. Todos tenemos el derecho de rechazar las investigaciones de nuestro propio cuerpo y de nuestras pertenencias. Si ve a ICE, llame a la línea de ayuda. Si alguien es detenido por ICE, tiene el derecho de un abogado y puede visitar illinoisimmigrationinfo.org para obtener más información. Cuando todos ejercemos nuestros derechos, nos protegemos mutuamente. Now I would like to introduce our Cook County Commissioner from our district in Pilsen, Cook County Commissioner Alma Anaya.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
¿Verdad que no nos vamos a dejar?
No.
¿Verdad que no?
No.
Hola, me llamo Alma Anaya, soy comisionada del 7º Distrito, orgullosamente las comunidades del suroeste de la ciudad de Chicago. No hay palabras para expresar la desgracia de las acciones del gobierno federal en este momento. Desde el comienzo de la presidencia de Trump, la administración federal ha destacado el miedo, el trauma en nuestras comunidades. En lugar de promover la seguridad, la ley, el orden, el presidente ha aumentado el miedo, el caos y la incivilidad de nuestras comunidades. Déjenme ser muy clara. Cuando atacan a nuestras comunidades, nosotros nos defendemos. Déjenme ser clara de nuevo. Cuando nuestras comunidades están en situaciones donde nuestros derechos son violados, no es que nomás van a ser para los inmigrantes. Estos derechos serán violados para todos. Nuestras comunidades en este momento necesitan apoyo, fondos para nuestras escuelas, acceso a salud, no más tácticas de miedos o ataques hacia nosotros. Los ejércitos no los necesitamos en nuestras calles para vivir seguramente. Eso crea más miedo. El despliegue de la Guardia Nacional no tiene que ver con la seguridad pública. El presidente está tratando de militarizar e intimidarnos para distraernos de sus fallas políticas. Ahora, más que nunca, cuando existe la separación de familias, el miedo a la deportación y la falta de respeto a nuestros derechos que son garantizados bajo la Constitución, y también el debido proceso, nosotros nos volvemos a comprometer en proteger a nuestras comunidades contra Trump. En el condado de Cook hemos invertido más de 100 millones en prevención de violencia, específicamente violencia de las calles o armadas, y en apoyar nuestras comunidades. También hemos creado fondos y una unidad en el defensor público para proteger a nuestras comunidades cuando no tienen la representación legal que es necesaria. Sabemos que estas intervenciones están funcionando. Sabemos que invertir directamente en la seguridad y en el bienestar de nuestras comunidades es nuestra prioridad, no en gastar millones de dólares en acciones que solo aterrorizan a nuestro pueblo. Como comisionada del condado, sigo comprometida a proteger a nuestros residentes y elevar nuestros derechos constitucionales. Y quiero agradecer, aquí tenemos a la comisionada y una colega mía, Jessica Vázquez, que también está apoyando estas iniciativas en el condado. Y quiero agradecerle a todas las organizaciones porque hoy día lo que estamos haciendo es dando un pedacito de demostración de lo que pasa cuando trabajamos, sí, en la ciudad, en el condado, en el estado, pero más importante con estas organizaciones que han hecho tanto por décadas para proteger a nuestras comunidades. Y también para proteger los derechos de todas las personas que viven en la ciudad de Chicago. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce wonderful Senator Karina Villa.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Karina Villa. Soy la senadora estatal del Distrito 25 que represento partes del condado de DuPage, Kane y Cook. Lo más importante que quiero decirles es de dónde vengo. Y la historia esta no es mía, la historia esta es de todos que estamos aquí presentes. La lucha que viene ahorita nos ha preparado, ¿saben quién? Nuestros abuelos, que sufrieron hambre, que sufrieron noches de desvelo pensando que cómo iban a salir adelante. Este momento, ahorita, mis padres no me criaron para agachar la cabeza ni para doblar la rodilla. En este momento, yo les digo que yo fui criada, que Norma, Aarón, Edgar, Graciela, Alma, Delia, Lillian, Jessica, Anthony, véanos. En este momento estamos preparados porque nos prepararon nuestros padres y nuestros abuelos. Decimos que no a las tropas federales aquí en el estado de Illinois y vamos a seguir luchando. A cada nivel vamos a luchar, día y noche, y no nos vamos a rendir con el pueblo, como nuestros antepasados siempre lo han hecho. Cuando falta un plato en la mesa, se le agrega tantito más caldo y caben más. Igual nos vamos a unir de las manos y todos vamos a caber en esta lucha contra el Donald Trump. My name is Karina Villa, and I'm the Illinois State Senator of the 25th Senate District. I represent parts of DuPage, Kane, and suburban Cook County. I'm going to tell you a bit of my story, the most important thing that I want to convey to you. My story did not start the day I became a state senator. It started with my grandparents, who suffered long nights thinking of how they were going to feed their children. It started with my mother and my father, who spent so many days working relentlessly, suffering, being humiliated at work because of the color of their skin. Those parents of mine did not raise a daughter to bow down in times of adversity. They taught me to lift my head high. Look at us all here. Look at us. Look at Norma. Look at Graciela. Look at Aaron. Look at Edgar. Look at Alma. And look at Delia and Lillian and Jessica. Look at Anthony. Look at us. We are standing strong and tall because our parents did not raise us to bow down in this time. I will tell you that they raised us for this moment. And we are saying no to Donald Trump and his federal troops and his idea to send the federal troops here to our city, to our suburbs, and to our state. We will be more strong and more united than ever, all of us together, to defend our neighbors. It is my honor to introduce my very good friend, Anthony Quesada, to the mic.
Good morning. When I say people, you say power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. Good morning. My name is Anthony Joel Quesada, and I am the Alderman of Chicago's 35th Ward. Here in Chicago, we are united. We will not waver, and we are prepared to protect one another. Let us be absolutely clear. Donald Trump's threats to deploy the National Guard and continue his hostile immigration policies in Chicago and across our nation are reckless and dangerous. Normalizing a militarized presence in our neighborhoods is not safety, it is authoritarianism. What truly makes our community safer is investments in people, creating living wage jobs, building millions of units of affordable housing, and guaranteeing health care to every single resident as a human right, That is what keeps our community safe, not troops, not ICE, but people. People who are invested, communities that are invested. That is what makes our community safe. And that is the future of America that we will be fighting for every single day. And that is why it is also extremely important that our neighbors understand that this is not about crime. What Donald Trump is doing, what he is portraying, is not about crime. Republican-led cities with higher crime rates are not being threatened with federal troops. Chicago and Washington, D.C. are being targeted because we stand up and we fight for working class and immigrant families. This is about political power. It is not about public safety. Using our communities as props for political theater is dangerous. It is dangerous. He is trying to incite violence in our communities. Chicago does not need soldiers in our streets. We need real investments in safety, housing, healthcare, and opportunity. That is how we build a safer city, a safer county, a safer state, and a safer nation for everyone. And that is what all of us here are committed to fighting for. Thank you, and please welcome State Representative Edgar Gonzalez.
Buenos días a todos. Buenos días. Soy el representante estatal Edgar González y represento el Distrito 23 de Illinois, que recorre las áreas de Cicero, La Villita y Chicago. Yo vivo en La Villita toda mi vida y ayer yo andaba hablando con alguien de La Villita, una señora, y estábamos hablando sobre esta situación de la que estamos hablando ahorita. Sí, los militares debían de venir a Chicago, y la señora me dijo de que ella pensaba de que estaba bien que llegaran aquí a la ciudad de Chicago. Entonces le pregunté, ¿pero por qué? ¿Por qué cree usted de que deberían de venir los militares para acá? Y ella dijo, es de que el crimen ya es una crisis, ya es demasiado, y los demócratas no quieren hacer nada. Ese es el problema. Ahorita el presidente ha querido mandar los militares, tropas federales aquí a la ciudad de Chicago porque dice de que hay mucho crimen. Sí hay crimen, en cualquier ciudad grande hay crimen, pero lo que pasa es de que él lo está diciendo como si no hubiera, si nosotros no estamos haciendo el trabajo para combatir ese crimen. Por ejemplo, ya hay muchísimos programas de prevención de violencia para ayudar a los muchachillos para que no caigan en las pandillas. También hay programas para ayudar a que los muchachillos tengan trabajo durante el verano. O sea, ya se está haciendo el trabajo, los demócratas están haciendo el trabajo, pero el presidente está creando esta crisis, está diciendo que no estamos haciendo este trabajo para poder mandar los militares para acá, y eso es él decir que él es el superhéroe y que él fue el que salvó el día. Pero nosotros ya estamos haciendo el trabajo, no necesitamos la ayuda de este presidente. Lo que sí necesitamos es de que nos regrese el dinero que nos ha quitado nuestras comunidades. Dinero para el Medicaid, dinero para el SNAP, esos dinero que nos ha quitado para mandárselos a ICE. Ha quitado dinero para los programas después de escuela, se los ha mandado por otros lados, y nosotros nos quedamos aquí esperando. Eso es lo que debería hacer el presidente. En vez de mandar tropas federales, debería mandar el dinero que nos debe. Ahora, esto siempre hemos sido atacados en nuestras comunidades, las comunidades trabajadoras, las comunidades inmigrantes. Pero pues eso no es un trabajo que hacemos solos, ni nosotros como legisladores hacemos este trabajo solos. Lo hacemos con todos nosotros, a diferentes niveles de gobierno, municipal, federal, estatal, pero también todas las organizaciones comunitarias que nos ayudan en este trabajo. Para pedir el dinero que nos debe este presidente y para decirle que no necesitamos su ayuda, que se ponga a trabajar. Muchas gracias. ¿Alguna pregunta?
Thank you all to all our speakers, and now we'll take questions. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Would you say that again?
Yeah, so we had an Sun Times news story in today's paper that they're going to start housing ICE agents and potentially National Guard troops up at the Great Lakes Base Base. I'm curious if you get your reaction to that.
I think you're not surprised by our response to it. We think it's ridiculous. And again, this is just another demonstration of they're going to try to send as many as they can. Now they're going to try to find where to house them. and they are going to try to use it as an opportunity to continue to intimidate, to say, well, these are properties that we have authority over. Because let's be honest, what this president is doing right now is he is actually taking the military that's supposed to be defending the homeland outside of the homeland and bringing them in to do a mission that they never signed up for. I want to tell you one quick thing. I did a hearing, a congressional oversight hearing about 7 weeks ago, and I had a Marine come to testify, and he said, I'm a Marine and so are my two brothers. The greatest pride for my father was when we became Marines. My father was detained, beat on the street on his way to work about 4 months ago because he's a landscaper, and after 30-something years still undocumented. And he talked about what his father experienced in private detention with 52 men in a cage, he said. But I want to just note this to you. He, as he was there shaking and crying, said, I'm not just here for my father and my brothers. I am here for every service member that did not sign up for this. And I think it's really important for people to understand that what he is doing, he doesn't have the capacity. He is now what? He has $150 billion that he's telling seniors in high school, hey, you don't have to finish high school. Go ahead and quit because he just turned 18 and we'll hire you so that you can be one of these mass agents with no training. It is a time of terrorizing, and they're trying to figure out what are ways to enter cities like Chicago, where Tom Homan himself has said repeatedly, they're just too educated. And so, of course, it's something that we don't agree with, and we're going to push back on it, but he's going to continue to push the fold as far as he can.
Okay, well, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Can we get together for one photo, guys?
¡Y no nos vamos!
¡Sí, nos
Okay, guys over there. All the way in. Yeah, man. They should be up front.
Damas y chiquillas, ustedes bien más frente.
Yeah. Should we maybe go this way because of the podium? Yeah, un poquito para acá para que no...
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
¿Listo? Sí.